welcome back to Smashing Heads Podcast. This is our recap for All Stars 3, Episode 3. As you heard from the intro music, it's officially... Is it the first BOYZ NITE of 2022?
I believe it is, Zach.
I think it might be. It's the first BOYZ NITE for sure of All Stars 3.
Right.
But it's definitely the first BOYZ NITE of 2022. Your name's Jake.
How's everybody doing tonight? How are you doing tonight?
It is tonight. It's almost tomorrow.
It's late. I'll tell you what's wild, Zach. Let me just break down to people how committed we are. Now, specifically how committed I am.
Okay, you want to brag.
I have to wake up to go to work in 5 hours and like 5 minutes.
Yeah. To be fair,
I did it to myself.
You picked this time.
I did. Listen, it's my fiance's birthday weekend. We've got a tennis match Sunday night. I have...
And another one Tuesday.
And another one Tuesday.
Another one.
Yeah. So I just, I'm just like, you gotta squeeze it in.
Yeah.
You make time for the people you care most about.
Yeah, you're like, you want to do it at like 11? And I was like, I guess. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Because we wanted to get it done because we told you we were going to do episode 1, and then it's going to be a couple days in episode 2, and then by the time episode 3 rolled around, we're going to kind of be back on track, and then going, we'll probably be, I would assume, recording on Thursdays pretty much from here on out, because that's an easier day for all three of us.
It's an easier day. And
now,
most times I won't be having to wake up at 4:15 in the morning.
That's unusual. And also, most times Hannah will be here. It's just her little sister is moving into dorm for college for a summer thing, and she went with them to help move her in. So she's gone, and she gets back.
Getting good sister vibes from Han.
Yeah, gets back Monday.
Something about vibes and energy. I don't know.
Yeah, she loves vibes and energy. Actually, I saw a challenge-related post today. I almost sent you. Josh posted a bunch of pictures, and Tori Deal, it shows you like 2 people comment on it, and because we followed Tori as well, it just said vibes.
I don't like it.
I almost sent it to you.
I don't like. Who said that?
Tori.
Tori did. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like Josh would be prone to saying vibes too.
Oh yeah, for sure. He has a lot of hair now.
Oh,
I mean, not relative to like Logan San Pedro or anything like that, but like it's that pretty like short cropped. It's like probably more like I don't even know who to compare him to.
Is it on his Twitter or something?
It's on Instagram.
Oh, just pull up the guy on Insta real quick.
Yeah, I got it. I can get it pulled up. I got it right here. Josh Martinez.
Yeah, just show me the thing.
He's wearing hats a lot, but you see that?
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, that's a solid look.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't look bad.
Mind it.
But it's just we've never seen him like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of someone else who has hair that we've not seen, Holeigh, 12 Dates of Christmas.
Right.
He's got like I don't know what it's called. I'm not good with hair terms.
Is it a Jeyyy curl?
It's not a Jeyyy curl. But he has like twists or braids or something.
Okay.
And they're like down to like past his ears. And he had like no hair. Like he had
no hair.
Like Mr. Clean, like bald.
Right.
And now he's got a lot of hair, so maybe if he's on whatever the upcoming season is, which I don't think he will be, but based on some casting rumors that we've heard of, which we won't talk about on here, if you're unaware, that's the only spoiler type things we ever deal with. And that's just Jake and I. Hannah doesn't even like that. She likes to find out who the cast is when it's officially announced, but I don't mind casting rumors because that doesn't affect gameplay or outcomes or anything like that. So,
well, in the spirit of Han,
yeah.
You're not gonna like this, but I'm gonna pop open a.
It's not me. It's the etiquette of the listeners.
Well, this is a Han thing, right? It just
yeah.
So this is another. I'm grabbing. You want one?
No.
I'm just getting Chico's Korean candy.
Yeah. Speaking of Hannah's gone, obviously I think we've said it before on the show. She's deathly allergic to all peanuts and tree nuts.
Right. So you're living this weekend.
Yeah, so I went and got Thai food today.
Mm-hmm.
I went last night and got something with peanut butter in it. Today I went to the grocery store and I got 2 things that I have not had since we started probably dating, definitely since we've been married. So, I haven't had either of these things in over 6 years. One is just Planters mixed nuts.
Okay.
Just like everything all together, which I haven't had in a long time. I haven't opened those yet, but I did get Reese's Puffs too.
I was gonna say Reese's Puffs. I wish I'd have said it.
They're in there. I haven't had that in. It's been over 6 years, and that is probably one of my favorite cereals.
It's one of the best. It's really good.
I ate some about an hour and a half ago.
Okay.
It's still really good.
It holds up.
Yeah, it's it's not like life changing, but it's if you have your choice of cereals, like that's top 5 for sure.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah. So she's not that happy about it.
She's not happy about it. Did you tell her about it?
Yeah, I sent her a picture of it, and I said #nut party, and she just said enjoy it while you can and scrub my house down afterwards.
She's still doing the my house thing.
Oh, it's always that.
Okay.
Yeah. Which speaking of our house, before we get into the episode, I have
dogs.
We do have dogs. I have a guy that I pay to come mow. Just because it's just easier with
I do the same
time
thing.
Commitments.
I ain't got no time. Yeah. I just don't.
And so I'm using a newer guy that lives in our neighborhood because I lost the number to the other guy, and he texted me a week and a half ago, and was like, "Hey, do you want me to come mow?" And it was when I was really like hit with COVID, maybe 2 weeks ago now, and I was like, not a good time because I was like, I don't have cash and all this stuff, and so. He was like, hey, no problem. And so I've been texting him over and over and over, like, hey, when you coming? And he works nights, and so he's like, oh, I'll try to be there. And then he couldn't be here, and then it rained, and then he couldn't be here. And he was supposed to be here yesterday, and he didn't show up. And then he texted me late last night, and I was like, you can come even if I'm not there. I was like, I'll just pay you when you're done. Like, I found out it's Venmo. And I was like, I'll just Venmo you. And so he showed up today finally, and I checked my mail, and I had a note from the city that was like, your weeds are too big. And I've never had that happen before. And our yard had grown really fast. It was all those like
tumbleweeds,
those little white flowery thing. I don't know what they're called, but they grow in like clovers, and they'd grown up a bunch. And I'd been trying to get him here for like a week and a half, and he hadn't shown up. And so I just called the number on the letter, and I was like, hey, I had COVID for 2 weeks. I was like, but I appreciate you sending a letter about it.
Jerks.
Like, there's nothing I could do.
It's just, Pansy sitting in a desk all day. Yeah. Ain't got nothing better to do.
It's
like these cops sitting.
You have 5 days to rectify this. And I was like, it's taken care of. It's being done right now.
There's nothing more maddening than, I've drove home from these podcast sessions at 1 a.m, right? I just want to get home, Zach. Yeah. And, I may be going 10 miles over speed limit. And God dogged it for any cop there to pull me over. And it's maddening.
You got pulled over after we've recorded?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep. Made me mad. I was mad. Because I looked down and was like, I did. I didn't get hard with him, but I was just like, man, it's been a long night. I just want to go home.
Yeah.
I wanted to cry.
Did you cry? Did
you cry? No, but I just wanted to go home.
He might have let you off if you cried.
Well, he had a trainee with him who was acting like a real... he's acting real hard, right? Cops.
How long ago was that?
Oh, it was over a year ago, I'd say.
Because it used to be, we would, until it moved the show to Wednesday nights, it used to be we would watch it semi-live, but usually not even until like 10 o'clock, and they're an hour and a half episodes.
Right.
And then we'd get done about 11:30, and then record until 1 at least. Sometimes it would be past 2 before I'd get the episode up or anything like that. We did that for like 2 years.
Can't do that no more.
No, I can't do it right now. If it was a different day, maybe.
Yeah.
But Wednesdays are just tough.
Wednesdays are rough.
And so, again, that's why All Stars 3, which we're currently recording, will most likely be recorded on Thursdays. Maybe Friday every once in a while, depending on schedule and, things like that. But we're trying to do Thursdays. When did you watch the episode? Hannah and I watched it.
I just watched it.
Okay, we watched it yesterday, in the afternoon before she left.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about it overall?
I thought there were elements of it that took it back to what made the challenge great.
Okay.
I did not dislike this episode at all.
No.
I love when goofy stuff happens. I love when I sit back and I go like, oh my God.
I don't like when people have to go home when they don't want to go home.
I don't like that.
And you had 2 of those in this episode.
You had it last episode.
Yeah.
So, really anxious to see who the replacement is. I don't think I'm sure there's people listening that are like, well, you know this, right? But
so if we have to speculate, it has to be someone who fits the theme,
and it's someone new. Like it's not, because we've seen in the past, like they may bring someone who just got eliminated back. Melinda ain't coming back.
The only one you could bring back would be Cynthia.
And somebody made a comment. I think it was Ronnie in like the teaser for next week. Like, I got to beat this girl in elimination or something like that. Or
what if it's like Laurel?
That's what I'm saying. Like
it could be.
There's no. So
Laurel's kind of low key on social media, so she can just disappear off and on. You wouldn't know she's gone.
Right.
She fits the criteria.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be a bit like if you're one of those girls and Laurel comes in, like you're scared.
Yeah. Who gets her?
I think she could beat everybody.
No, I'm saying like us on our fantasy teams. Who gets her?
Oh, ooh. I don't.
Would it have to be whoever had? So who went home this week? Jimmy and
Tina. Tina was medical DQ, and Jimmy.
Her dad's sick.
Yeah, but he's actually okay still. She posted something yesterday saying like he's good as of now. So obviously, like thankfully it wasn't anything, too pressing.
I don't know how we would determine that.
Yeah, because we had 2 in the same episode. Because typically what we've done is if we had a leftover player,
right?
If it was a medical DQ or something, it jumped onto whoever's team.
Yep.
And so the thing is, Tina was on your team and Jimmy was on Hannah's team. And I had Melinda, going back to last week, Melinda was on my team. And so maybe that's fair because we've all 3 lost somebody that's just had to leave.
Say that one more time.
I had Melinda, you have Tina, Hannah has Jimmy.
Right.
That's 3 different players who went home for either injuries or personal reasons, right?
Right.
So maybe nobody gets the replacement.
That may be the most fair thing to do.
Because we've all 3 had someone go.
Yeah.
Because if I would say if Jimmy didn't go in this episode, you'd get her because Tina. And then if Tina didn't go, Hannah would get it. And,
I agree with that.
But it's just too, unless he specifically says, this person's here for Tina.
If he does that,
then I would say it's okay.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's going to do that.
I don't either.
Because it's not like we still had an elimination and they're going to bring in 2 more girls. So it's weird. I mean, again, part of the risk of having an All-Stars type season, you got older people.
Yeah.
You get, again, not even just injury wise, but Jimmy, like you got to think like, and Mark even is a good example. Like their parents are older because they're older, and it's like you're going to run into some things more than what you expect. But yeah, I've only seen positive reviews for this season so far.
It's great.
Yeah, I love All Stars. Like
it's definitely. I thought season 2 was, even though it was still really good, a significant tick down from season 1. I really did. And I think what made season 1 so great was because it was such a return to just what was good, and it was more lighthearted. And
I think if we had not had season 1 and season 2 was our first taste of All Stars, we would hold it higher than you know what I'm saying. It's just by comparison.
By comparison, this season's great.
Yeah, I really like it. The only thing I'm worried about is I don't want them to have issues like they did in the final last season, where we find out that they had to like call people back and then send them in a truck to like get up to where they were, and like. So hopefully they got some of the production stuff figured out. There's a news update. If people do come to us for breaking news,
I would hope so.
The whatever CBS spinoff, the Challenge, Big Brother, the Challenge Argentina, the Challenge UK, whatever, all those, it was going to culminate in the Challenge War of the Worlds. That was on the promotional material, on the videos, and everyone involved in Challenge, including all 3 of us, were like, this is very dumb.
Very dumb.
Because 1, you just had War of the Worlds 1 and 2 within the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And 2, War of the Worlds 1 is considered one of the best seasons probably of all time, and the hardest final maybe of all time.
Right.
And so the only way you could get away with something like that is if that season had just like flopped and people are like, just forget about it, But it's officially, I think, called the Challenge World Champions.
World Champions.
Which won't technically be true if they don't include anyone from the main shows, right? If they're only bringing in CBS people,
none of them are world champions.
Yeah, exactly. That's basically like saying, which is what they do in baseball, Major League Baseball. They're like, oh, they're the world champions, and like, well, you didn't play the Japanese leagues and the Philippines leagues and all those,
right?
So it's a little skewed because I would say more than likely, based on what we've seen from people from Big Brother, Survivor, all that stuff, even though we've had some really great athletes, for the most part, they're not cut from the same cloth as the people who were just really good at the challenge from the MTV feeder shows.
What was it?
Turbo's the best one. He came from Survivor Turkey or whatever.
Was it Double Agents or Spies, Lies, and Allies, where we had like all the Big Brother people going within 4 or 5 episodes?
Survivor. I picked
I
picked all 3 Survivor people.
They were gone. All of them were gone.
Michaela,
Tommy,
and Michelle.
Yep.
Michelle hung around the longest. Michaela just got screwed up politically, like right away, got sent home. Tommy got a concussion and was throwing up and whatever. He got sent home, and now he's a principal. And then Michelle, she was partnered with Corey, 12 Dates of Christmas,
right, and
got beat by Huey and Amber B.
Phenomenal.
That was a phenomenal TV moment. Yeah, like again, I don't know what it is, but there's something about people like Wes, CT, Johnny Bananas, Jordyn. Like, these guys are just different. And I don't know if it's because they've been doing this thing for so long, but again, even at 40, CT's the best person in the game every time.
Yeah.
And so let's get into, which I have Hannah's notes we'll read at the end.
Right.
And you just watched this episode.
I just watched it.
With your
fresh
fiance.
on my mind. Yeah.
And so you've got her take on things.
Well, not quite.
Well, she didn't write notes down.
No, she wasn't like really locked in. We got a wedding coming up, so she was looking at photographers and.
So she was staring at your brother.
No, she was staring at a bunch of other people. So.
Yeah. Well, right away in this episode, Mark is feeling good. He low fives, which one of our patrons pointed out that she thought it was so funny that he called it a low high five instead of just a low five.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that.
I didn't either, and I was like, I didn't catch it, but now that you say it, I remember it.
Wow.
And
who caught that?
Michelle.
She's
smart.
That's a smart catch. I was gonna say Trisha.
It wasn't Trisha. You just guessing people?
Just guessing.
Yeah.
Shout out to Michelle.
Yeah, she caught it, and I was like, that is really funny. And we did have JD jumped in there and said he did have a Diamond Dallas Page slamming buddy or whatever.
Yeah, he was another one, yeah.
Which I do remember that now. But Mark low fives his
right.
little guy. And I wrote Show Me Love, Show Me Life, and I don't know why. I think that was a song playing in the background.
Had to have been. I'd have wrote that quote down.
Yeah, he didn't say it.
Yeah.
I think I wrote it because I was like, what song is this? And then I never looked it up. And I'm going to look it up now.
There were some great tunes on this episode. There really was.
Oh, I know one in particular. This is called, it's by Robin. R-O-B-Y-N.
One in particular I specifically remember from Saved by the Bell.
Oh, so it's not Limp Bizkit.
I remember that one too. You know what song I'm talking about? Tell me how am I supposed to live? You know, that's when they go to prom. Kelly and Zach break up, and it's like,
is that the song playing?
Yes.
Because they do these. I remember they do these cut back and forths where like Slater and Jesse are singing.
They're singing,
and they're dressed as like Egyptians or something.
Or Caesar. I think he's like Caesar.
Okay, something ancient like that. I didn't remember that was a song, but that would make sense. Is that Michael Bolton or is that a
That's
different
definitely
guy?
The song, right? Can you pull that scene up?
What is it called?
YouTube?
No, I know what YouTube is. Saved by the. Oop.
Just Saved by the Bell. Zach and Kelly break up.
The Bell, Zach, Kelly
break up. There it is. Break up.
Wedding.
Well, they didn't break. That's it.
This is it's on YouTube. She's crying already in the thumbnail.
Yeah.
This is an ad.
Oh,
I'm going to mute the ad because it's a 15-second one I can't skip.
Right.
So, yeah, I watched through the entirety of Saved by the Bell probably like 6 years ago.
Okay.
Something like that. A lot of continuity issues in this.
Yeah, bad.
I'm gonna skip this.
Okay.
Because this is...
Oh, this is when she was having that thing with Jeff.
Yeah, the guy that's got to not be... She's a teenager. Let's
got to
be right here.
He's got to be like mid-20s.
I'd say at minimum 25. He's the manager of the restaurant. And she is definitely in high school. And this is like season 3 or 4. They go on for at least 6 seasons.
Her and Jeff?
No. So, but that would mean that they are in a... Like, this... She's like a sophomore.
Right.
Although, again, there are continuity issues.
She said Jeff right there.
Yeah, she calls him Jeff. That's what sets it off. That's a nice amp, by the way. It is the same song. I hear it already.
I knew it.
Man, they licensed. That's a big time thing.
That's not really.
I was about to say,
singing.
do you think that's her voice?
That may be her, but when he sings, not him.
Definitely not him. Definitely. Yeah, that's definitely not him. It is the same song though. They did it a couple episodes where they all had a band, but it was only like one or 2 episodes.
I liked that episode where they did like it wasn't real, it wasn't canon, right? But they go Zack Attack.
Oh yeah, and it was it like a behind the music type thing? Yeah. Those are like weird bottle episodes. Yeah, you're definitely right. Cause great song choice for the theme going on here.
Yeah.
Just in general, if anyone's wondering about the continuity issues, at the end of season, at least when I watched it on Netflix, at the end of season 5, they graduate. They're done with school. Zach and Kelly, I don't remember what happened, but you think the show's over. Well, no, there's a season 6, and half of them are back in high school, and
that's when like Tori shows up.
By the way, did you know she's a triplet in real life?
Is that true?
Yeah, she's got 2 identical sisters.
How about that?
So Tori shows up, and
I always thought Tori was hot when I was a kid.
I didn't like her attitude.
Yeah, you thought she was a punk.
I didn't like it, but
okay.
Zach is there, Screech, Tori, and then Kelly's not there in season 6, and I want to say Jesse's not there.
Jesse's not there.
It was Slater or Lisa. I want to say like 2 or 3, at least 2 left. I want to say maybe even 3 of them left.
Jesse and Kelly were definitely gone.
Yeah. And then they came back for the college years, or at least Kelly did.
Really weird love interest choice for Zach.
Tori?
Because Tori was kind of
I remember,
grunge, right? And he wasn't the guy going for the grungy,
you remember, I don't know what it... I don't know. Listen, we're derailing it, Saved by the Bell, but... they had that whole like beach summer vacation.
Yeah.
Leah Remini was his love interest for King of the Queens.
Yep.
And Scientology.
Yep. Well, it would go from one episode in Bayside, and then we're back at the beach. Then we're back at Bayside.
Oh, did it jump like that? I don't remember that.
That's how I remember it.
I thought it was
I could be wrong, but
I thought we just had about 4 or 5 episodes at the beach.
The beach episodes were not back to back. They weren't like...
See, when I watched back through it, I thought they were.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Because it goes back to Bayside at some point, but then we're back at the beach.
Sense.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's weird.
Yeah, I don't think Hannah's ever watched Saved by the Bell, if I'm being honest.
How you think she'd feel about it?
I think she wouldn't like it.
Really?
Yeah. I grew up on it.
I did too.
We need to ask her about that. Because I grew up on all that. And actually, since we're diving into Saved by the Bell, initially the show was called Good Morning, Miss Bliss.
That's right.
And it was based on the woman, the teacher, Miss Bliss, who was also the woman from the original Parent Trap movie back in the 60s.
Okay. Not Lindsay Lohan.
Not Lindsay Lohan.
Okay.
And it did not do great ratings-wise. If you watch the quote, like, first season or whatever that's called Saved by the Bell now, it's not the same show. They go back to, like, Miss Bliss's house and show her home life and all this stuff.
That's weird.
And then, like, Zach would, like, show up as a little, like, 8th grade neighbor. And it turns out people really liked Zach and Screech. And they're like, well, let's just shift the show to be about them. And then that's what they did, and it took off. And then you had all kinds of things. That is quintessential 90s show.
Yeah, it's great.
It is great. I need to work back through it maybe, but I'm watching Survivor right now. So I've literally, just by the way, we are 24 minutes in. I've literally read one line of my notes.
Okay.
How do you feel about the treehouse?
It's
Kayla, Sylvia, Jimmy, Veronica, Tina, Ronnie, and Derek.
Ronnie seems like the outcast.
I'd say Derek seems like the outcast.
I don't know.
Except he's got history with these people.
Right.
But.
I don't know. All of them seem very loud and opinionated.
Oh, so on that level.
Right?
I agree with that. Yeah. To me, I mean, it's all these like girls, and then Derek said he accidentally fell into it because he just happened to be in that room. But
his personality still fits.
I guess on that, I didn't think about it that way. Because, on that, for sure, Ronnie's the outlier.
Yeah.
We cut to Brad and Cyrus having a talk over breakfast. I don't know. And then I told you at the beginning of this, they're getting older. Cyrus is 50. He gets choked out of nowhere. And, like, Brad got worried about him, and he's like patting him on the back. He's like, "You okay, man?"
Yeah.
And you'd hate for someone to have to go out choking like that on breakfast.
God forbid. On national television too.
Yeah. Do you think that's ever happened?
Somebody just goes
choked to death on TV?
No.
I've never thought about it.
I bet we could YouTube it and find out.
Probably. I've seen a lot of things, not on YouTube, but just in general on the internet that you don't
delve into
see.
the dark web, don't you?
Not the dark web, but I have seen a lot of stuff that I wish I didn't.
Right.
I've never seen the like really egregious like 2 girls 1 cup, anything like that. I've never seen those.
Okay.
When I found out what it was, and there's a bunch like Mr. Hands, all those type of things, and I was like, oh, that's what that is. Like, I don't want to see that. I will actively avoid that.
Okay.
But
you may have just made a mistake. Somebody made.
Oh, someone's gonna Google one of those two because
Yeah.
it's been. So the first one that I mentioned has probably been long enough that there's a lot of people that don't know what that is.
Uh-huh.
The second one is a more obscure cut. There's a documentary about it called Zoo. And so if you're feeling risky,
weird tonight,
if you're feeling risky, you can look up what either of those are. I mean, I've seen just people been like killed or impaled or like I don't like that, but just sometimes you run across it.
Yeah.
I remember my cousin back in the day of like file sharing, like peer-to-peer stuff, like it wasn't LimeWire, but like Kazaa or whatever you said.
Oh yeah.
He was trying to download some music video, and he opened it, and he probably took like 3 hours to download, and he opened it, and it was a video of someone sitting in a chair and then getting shot in the face, and he cried, and he's like a 17-year-old football player, big guy at the time, and I was like, good Lord.
I don't have words.
Yeah. Like somebody maliciously went through and was like, I'm going to get him to say this is Nickelback or something. I don't know if that's what
this is how you remind me.
That's probably probably what it was.
Or Too Bad.
What?
The song Too Bad.
They had a song called Too Bad?
Yeah, that was one of their hits.
I don't know that one.
Do you not?
How's it go?
It's too bad, too late, so long, so long.
I don't think that's called Too Bad.
That's Too Bad.
Okay.
That's actually one of my, I like that song.
They have a song that says Coca-Cola Roller Coaster.
Yeah.
Hannah's least favorite song of all time. So, for some reason, MJ wants to align with Wes, and I honestly don't remember the reasons behind it. Do you?
No.
You just watched it.
Soft alliance thing.
Yeah.
Nothing, very under the table.
We do get a Yes and Wes coffee date.
Right.
And I guess I got confused because it sounded like at first Yes was saying, I don't want to use the sabotage. I want to give it to you. And at first I was like, oh, that means he's going to like sabotage him. But then it sounded like he was like, no, I want you to be the one.
He don't want to use it.
Yeah. And so Wes is like, well, of course I want to do that. But then Yes kind of like went back on it and was like, well, I want to maybe make you have a hard time. And I was like, well, maybe I just am not understanding what he's saying. But it's weird. It's weird that Yes takes some of these things personally that are within the rules. You know what I'm saying?
It is this is definitely a different Yes on this season compared to season 1.
I think season 1 he flew under the radar pretty heavily.
Can't do it now. You're
and
a champ. You can't do it.
Yeah, and I think everyone does not want to see him in a final. And his philosophy is, I want the best people in the final to prove that I'm can do
Which
it.
Which is always a weird stance, but anyway.
It's a Jordyn-esque stance. Yeah. I mean he's not going to sneak his way to a final without going into an elimination like he did in season 1. So we by the way, Devin Walker that we've interviewed.
He may email us?
He did not, but he jumped in on Twitter to say obviously he's friends with Wes in these sides of things. And he's like, but you guys are really both screwing it up. He's like, you had the chance to have a rhyming name alliance, and you guys really messed it. He's like, I've been waiting for someone named Kevin to come on the show for 6 years.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So he could be Devin and Kevin.
Yeah.
And because that's when we were doing our draft. I picked Wes, and I was trying to get Yes in the next pick, but you took him.
I took him.
We get to the daily. It's called Playing Dirty. And it's described as musical chairs, but I guess in the sense that there's scarce resources.
Yeah.
And so some people are going to be out. But it's basically just there's balls in the water, and you got to get back. It's a classic daily.
Classic.
And it works.
This is one of those that, like, you can't screw up.
Yeah.
Like, it's just...
It's going to be physical.
It's perfect.
It's going to have some form of, like, strategy, because we've seen it in even other individual seasons where they'll throw the balls to people who you didn't know they were aligned with, and that causes drama in the house and all this stuff. So the sabotage is a 35-pound weight vest, which is a big sabotage in this daily.
That's a big one, yeah.
Imagine if, like, Kendall, which she had to, but she talked about putting it on herself. Imagine if she had to wear that.
Yeah.
Like, she's tiny.
Yeah.
Like, that's would be insane. So, Yes gives his sabotage to Wes right away. Expected.
Yeah.
And then Kendall, like, freaks out.
What a weird deal. I don't understand.
I have seen people that have said Kendall's rubbing them a little bit the wrong way this season.
It's weird.
Because it's just like, there's no need to make this a big deal. And Jordyn literally said, Kendall, give it to me.
And he even brought it up when they were all meeting the authority, and he was like, I gave her an out.
And now that's something to hold against her, because she's like, can I use it on a guy? And TJ's like, of course. And then so she's like, okay. And it's like, can I use it on myself? And he's like, sure. It's for $500,000, but if you want to do it, that's your call. And then that's when Jordyn's like, just give it to me, because he saw she was... And Jordyn's the type who of course he would say
he would. And
he probably would still do really well.
Yeah.
And she just, like, freaks out, and then all of a sudden she gives it to MJ.
Out of nowhere.
I don't understand that. And so MJ has it, and he's, got a knee brace. And
when they started, he took it first step. Like, I thought,
I was like, he tore his ACL.
Yeah.
I really thought that happened right there. But because it just buckled on him.
I don't know, man. It was that whole thing was, I've just never seen someone like so take it to heart,
especially for something as
you're telling me
inconsequential.
There's not one person in that house that, not that you necessarily like dislike or have beef with, but you are indifferent about. Literally, not one person.
Who won the last daily? Who won the?
I can tell you real quick.
Episode 2 daily. What girl won?
What girl won?
It wasn't Kellyanne.
It was Kendall.
Oh, so Kendall won. Oh yeah, duh, because she has a sabotage.
Yeah, it was Kendall.
I meant who came in before her. Who came in first place before her? Sylvia,
yeah.
Okay, and Kendall's not part of the treehouse. Just give it to Sylvia.
That's the thing, right? Like, give it to one of them girls.
Yeah,
right.
Like that's what Yes did. He's like, Wes won the first daily. I'm giving it to him. Follow suit. Just say, I'm going to do what Yes did. And so, anyway.
And shout out to your girl Kellyanne, who comes back later in the episode just being like, I'm tired of being nice. Like,
yeah.
What are we being nice to people for?
We're playing nice, we're not playing smart.
Yeah.
But, right away the girls start. Veronica goes right after Kendall. She's a lot bigger than Kendall. But Kendall gets out of it anyway. and gets to the side. So Veronica's in last place. She's out right away. And so she's going into elimination. And then in round 2, you lose 4 more players. And so Jimmy, Ronnie, Nia, and Kendall all lose in round 2. Which, by the way, Nia's basically been invisible in the competition so far. And she was on Instagram today, and she was at one of her friends' house, and they were watching it, and she was making fun of herself about how bad she was. She's like, I thought
she got trucked at one point.
Yeah, but she's also so much longer than everyone else. She's like, I thought I was going to be able to come in here, and then they showed her, and she just like collapses as soon as she steps in the mud. And she's aware that she's not living up to. But I mean, like, even that swing thing, she didn't even get to kick it over.
Yeah.
So
Ronnie, I'm gonna give her credit here. Nia went in for the hit, and Ronnie just stood straight up. Yeah.
And round 3, we find out that the first one out of the water is the winner. And the first 3 that get to the shore out of the 5 that are left or whatever are the authority. So Kayla wins. Her and Sylvia did kind of like a give and go thing, where Kayla threw it ahead. Sylvia had it like halfway and then kind of got stuck, and then just gave it to Kayla to finish it off. But I mean, they're in an alliance. Everyone knows they're in an alliance. Everyone knows that they're the number one person they're protecting. So that doesn't really matter. So Kayla wins. John A comes in second, and then somehow Sylvia comes in third because she gave up her ball, and then one just kind of like landed on her, like right at the last second, and then she gets over the edge. So Tina gets off to the side. That's when we find out she says she dislocated her knuckle when she took her glove off, and then she just kind of popped it back in, kept going.
Yeah.
Way to be tough. And so the guys start, and then MJ, like we said, he just buckles. And then he couldn't even move. I don't remember who was the last one in the water besides him, but he tried to like make a last defensive stand and then didn't even come close.
Yeah. Not already on a bad knee. Not a good spot for MJ.
Yeah.
And to which
35 pounds is a lot, especially in mud like that.
And to which, as a result, we see Kendall feeling awful about her choice.
Did she cry? I don't remember.
I don't think she cried, but clearly upset about it.
Yeah.
Again, weird choice.
Yeah. It's especially when another player says, "Give it to me."
Yeah.
You had 2 outs. 1, follow
2 in your head.
Follow what Yes did, or 2, give it to the guy that said, "Give it to me."
Yeah.
That you have no beef with, so it wouldn't hurt his feelings. So, anyway, second round. Yes, Nehemiah, Wes, and Darrell are all eliminated. Cyrus was the one that the ball bounced and it like landed right in his hands at the finish line because somebody knocked it out of there. And so
we get a little Nehemiah and Yes scrap,
which, from what I saw, I didn't see why Nehemiah got as upset as what he did.
I don't remember exactly, but I feel like Yes almost got him in a little bit of a headlock.
Kind of, but like
it is. It's a touchy thing when your head starts. It's not, but
I guess it's ironic considering Yes was like, I don't like skirting the line on the rules,
Mr. Integrity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just hope that Nehemiah was like legitimately mad and not TV mad, like how we saw with Derek.
Which, speaking of, I don't mind Derek this season.
That's because they don't have a fake beef going on every episode.
Like, but when he's on there, like, I don't know. He, I think this is the best of Derek we've seen so far on All Stars.
To be fair, we haven't seen a lot.
But
it felt forced the last season, especially. Yeah, it felt like he was trying to like play it up for the camera, and like this season, it just seems like he's just kind of back to being what we've seen over the years.
Yeah.
So Brad wins. Derek is in second. Jordyn is in third. Brad is a freak, man.
He won every round.
Every round.
He won every round.
But like it wasn't close.
No.
And so TJ, after he announces who the authority is and all that, he gives a very like ominous saying, which was, "Don't forget, the game is always on." Because he said, "Have a fun night out, but don't forget the game is always on." And I was like, does that mean he's gonna like interrupt their night out and like make them do a daily or something? So get back to the house. MJ wants to know why Kendall picked him, rightfully so.
Yes.
John
gives him a whole you weren't on my radar, which at that point holds no weight if I'm NJ.
No,
MJ.
it's like, well, who cares? I came in last.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just again,
and
that's
the thing is, like, now you've created new enemies
on
this
the
choice.
guys and girls side.
You already had a set of enemies. Why not go for one of them, right? But now you've created new ones.
Again, I've said it. Either go after the people you are not aligned with, follow Yes's trend, or go to Jordyn. 3 very easy options. No one would fault you for any of those 3. Picking someone out of the blue who has no problems with you doesn't make any sense, because now you have John A upset over all this because obviously they're close and they won last season.
You got the champs upset.
Yeah, the defending champs, both of them. So, how'd you feel about the 70s party?
I like it better than what we have, a jungle theme party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think honestly, everyone did really well at looking the part of the 70s.
They went all out.
Yeah.
I'd love to do that sometime.
Do you think production sets these up, or someone on the cast is like, hey, one day we're going to do a safari party, one day we're going to do a 70s party, pack accordingly? I would assume it'd have to be someone in production.
Probably.
And
Maybe.
That's the type of stuff that we don't get on newer seasons.
Right.
The kind of downtime camaraderie.
Because everybody's too concerned about explosions.
Yeah, well, yeah, and we that one, I don't remember what season it was, War of the Worlds, where it's just Paulie and Kyle at each other's throats every chance during the downtime over Kara, and it was just it's just let's calm down, just have a weird party where, or Miss America competition or whatever it was.
Weird parties, but not too haughty.
That didn't rhyme at all. Was it supposed to?
Haughty is a word.
It didn't rhyme though.
Haughty party.
You think
potty?
You think okay? You got to announce it like potty.
Potty.
Yeah. Maybe if you're CT, you could get away with that.
Okay.
So Darrell's upset that Wes is politicking during the 70s party. Understandably, though, Wes is not in any sort of position to that he legitimately get thrown in.
Right.
Weirdly, Wes and Jordyn both feel that Yes needs to go in, and I did not expect that from Jordyn. Because again, he's kind of the type of guy who was like, "No, I want to prove that I can beat everyone."
Right.
And Wes is like, no. If these people can beat me, I want them to go home immediately.
Which I think is
for money. I get it.
The right approach.
Yeah.
If
it's for pride, it's one thing. But that's when Kellyanne and Kendall get together and talk about they're not playing smart at all. They're playing nice.
Johnny Bananas did not win 7 challenges by being prideful.
Okay.
Right.
Well, I'd say, I mean, he is prideful.
But by playing prideful. I want to beat the best.
Oh, yeah. No.
You know
I didn't know what you meant. I was talking more about Kendall and Kellyanne. I thought you were going to say...
Yeah, I took a step back.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say...
You were going up the stairs, and I went back down.
I thought you were going to say didn't get him by playing nice, and I was going to be like, absolutely. That's correct. That's how you should play. Yeah, just look at... What reigning longtime champ would you look at and be like, he's just a really nice guy, or girl, whoever. The people that win consistently, where it's not just kind of a one-off thing, they're cutthroat. It's underrated season, but even Jordyn, who wants to outright beat the best of the best, he still has blow-ups and he gets into it with people, and I can't think off the top of my head who would be in that group that's you know what, they're just really straight-laced. I'm only going to vote for who I say I'm going to vote for. At a certain point, you got to look out for yourself.
Right.
I'm watching Survivor right now, and in that, they have a challenge for, food or some sort of, something to help them out, and then the next day, they have, an immunity challenge. And, if you don't win those immunity challenges... you got to start, figuring out, I had this alliance, but, if the votes aren't going to stack up the right way, I got to side with the people who have the majority.
Right.
Because I don't want to go home.
Right.
And so people are flipping on their best friends, and, you know, you got to do what you got to do. It's for $1 million on Survivor. I actually scrolled up on my notes.
Easy.
MJ says he thinks he wants Cyrus in the elimination, and a lot of people think that he should maybe go after Yes, because if it's anything physical, obviously he's much, much bigger than Yes. If it's in like an agility thing, I would say Yes has the advantage. But
how do you think Yes would have done against him in this challenge?
I still think MJ probably would have won.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how much those sandbags weigh, but like you got to get that mass up and over the cage and into the trough that's hanging there. And although, like, you know, Yes might be one of those.
I think it'd have been close. Like I could see Yes winning that.
Yeah, I could see him. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me one way or the other, but you know, sometimes some of the best guys on the show aren't guys who work out in a gym a lot. Like Yes is more of just like, oh, I'm just outdoorsy. And like Landon, they said like he never went to a gym a day in his life, but he would like run through the woods and like lift logs, and you know,
yeah,
it's just one of those type of things. It wouldn't surprise me if he won, but he's a lot smaller.
Yeah.
So you may have some fatigue set in. But then what I was thinking is if he's a guy that's in like more like CrossFit shape, like this is right up the alley of like that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Brad, not yet, but Brad basically says he exclusively wants to send in Yes. Not even interested in anybody else.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that that's more of Wes's influence.
I think so.
Maybe whispering in his ear like, oh, you don't want to see him. He won the last one that we weren't on.
Yeah. Because he's made it known, you know, episodes past that, you know, him and Wes are aligned here.
Which I did not expect coming into this season.
Yeah. We never really saw it before, right?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, I if you would have said like Brad and Derek or Brad and Darrell or Brad and Mark,
yeah,
that none of those would surprise me. Wes would have probably been like 6th or 7th on that list.
Yeah.
But you know, maybe Brad's like where I lack is more the politicking, strategic side of things, and that's where, you know, Wes can kind of help him out.
Well, if you're gonna do crap like you did in this daily, you'll be all right.
Yeah. As long as you keep making that authority. So, Tina, we find out, has a huge hand wrap, and I was like, man, they like immobilized that, and then we find out she has a broken hand, and so she has to go home.
Yeah. Real shame.
It sucks because she was having a good, like, fun season. Obviously, she was in, you know, an elimination twice, but yeah. It's again, I think Tina on the show is fun. Yeah. I know some people don't like her, but
she was fun on last season until she quit.
I really hate that she quit last season because she was healthy. She could have competed, and she probably would have beat Melinda in that elimination, because Melinda's not physical or anything like that. And then you never know who she gets to the final. Her and Nehemiah, like, you just never know what happens.
Yeah.
And so it sucks that now she wants to compete and she gets sent home. And so the other thing is, which we haven't talked about at all, as far as I know and as far as I've seen, there was a contract with Paramount Plus, or Paramount's parent company, and Buena Murray to do 3 All-Star seasons. And that is it so far. So it is not guaranteed that this is going to be an ongoing thing. I think it's shown well enough that it will be,
right?
But we don't have a guarantee of that at all.
Right.
They initially signed them to a 3-season deal to, like, put this into production. Mark, you know, got that pushed along. I mean, this could be a three seasons and then we never see it again. I hope it's not
sad,
that.
Right?
Yeah, because this is great.
It's great.
I don't know how well it's doing numbers wise, because I don't know what portion of the, like, public has Paramount Plus. Hopefully, you know, with, like, the Halo TV show and the new Star Trek shows and something like that, you get more people, and then maybe it gets some eyes on, you know, All Stars.
But as far as within the challenge community, it seems to be...
I've seen it universally praised.
Yeah.
the majority of people have said, "Oh, this is much better than the main show."
Yeah.
Just because it's fun.
It's fun.
Yeah. And I would agree. I think the main show, its big thing is its bloat. It's too much, too over the top, too stretched out. And this is like, hey, we know our format, we know our dailies, we know mostly eliminations, and we know what works. Boom, 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 in an episode, and you're done. We
don't even like ourselves when we're bloated.
It's true. Bloat's not a good thing.
We hate being bloated.
Everyone
especially
does.
hate our TV shows bloated.
Yeah. So, Tina goes home, and at this point, I was like, probably no girls' elimination.
That's what I thought, too.
So we get to the authority, and Jordyn and Brad both don't want to pick Cyrus. And then Kellyanne and Kendall are the girls' names that come up for possible nomination. Because, again, they don't have any alliances, and she made a target at MJ.
Well, you got 2 out of 3 being the treehouse in there.
Yeah, exactly. And you had...
Actually...
And you had
3.
Yeah,
Derek's in the treehouse too.
When you had John 8 also in there, who's not in the treehouse,
but is very
upset
angry
with what's happening.
Yeah.
So, I honestly don't know how they came to this, even because Jordyn and Brad both said they don't want to pick Cyrus, and then, but Cyrus is the pick, and then Kendall is the other pick. I think they said, do your game, do whatever you want. That's not who we want to vote for. And, you had some weird burn votes, like Brad, because he was the last one, voted for Wes because he didn't want to put anybody's name. Yeah. And be like, hey, can you believe he said this? And then Jordyn voted for Nia because he's like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And so we then cut to another FaceTime session with Jimmy and Veronica, and it's Jimmy's mom. And she's talking about her dad's health. They didn't get into specifics, obviously, because it's a medical issue. Like, you're not going to put someone else's medical information out there that's not on the show. So we don't really know what it was. I don't know how old her parents are, but again, she's probably what, 37, 36?
I'd say 35-ish.
Really?
Yeah. She did tweet yesterday. She said, I don't like to speak about my personal life on camera or social media because the people I love didn't sign up for this. She likes to speak about
everybody else's.
She likes to speak about everyone else's. But I appreciate the love today, and y'all deserve an update. My dad is okay for now.
Yeah. She ended with for now, and I was like, that's kind of a little ominous, but I'm glad he's doing okay.
Yeah. And then there's some, I'm just scrolling through here. Jimmy.
I was like, if you're scrolling through comments, be careful.
No. Just her Twitter. I guess Kellyanne had a tweet about her and Tina not getting a chance to become close. Mm-hmm. But she truly enjoyed her company.
Mm-hmm. I don't think they probably ever overlapped.
Yeah. Jimmy also apologizes for the crappy confessionals she did all season.
Do you think Amanda's going to take that to heart?
I don't know. She said she did all of her confessionals at 2 a.m.
Why?
After I left the house at 3 p.m. when I had a 6 a.m. flight home.
So she's saying she did all of her confessionals after she found out her...
She emphasized all.
Huh. So they were like, oh, you're leaving. We have to, cram all this in for the next 2 hours.
When do they do confessionals? Typically. I've always wondered that.
I don't honestly know.
Is that
because you see people have closing changes and stuff throughout it, and sometimes even in the same episode, you'll have someone wearing one outfit and then it'll cut to them and then it'll be a different outfit. That may be something we need to ask next time we do an interview. Is what's the schedule like for the confessionals? Because obviously it has to happen after everything, because they have to kind of narrate what's gone on.
She also lost her verification on Twitter, so there's that.
You sad? Okay. Yeah, I really don't know. I figured basically how it worked was they did a daily, they did an elimination, and then once the elimination was over, maybe the next day where it's kind of maybe like a day off or a half day or whatever, they would pull everyone in to do confessionals for the previous, daily and elimination.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not though. I don't know. Maybe that's something we need to talk about. I really do. I was thinking about this today. I would like to interview someone more in production.
Okay.
I don't know who we need to reach out to maybe get involved with that, but what it was I got a suggested friend on Facebook, and it was someone that is mutual friends with only challenge people that I'm friends with, and it was like worked at Buena Murray, and I was like, there might be somebody worth
dropping those DMs.
Yeah, I really enjoy like learning the production side of things. Maybe other people don't, but
You're a tech head.
But do you not want to know like how some of that stuff is?
I'm curious about that.
Yeah, just that, and then once they answer, I
when
got
y'all talk to these people.
Yeah. So Jimmy goes home. So now we're down 2 girls, and we haven't got to the elimination yet.
Right.
And so we go to the arena, and we find out Kendall and Veronica aren't going to compete. And so at this point, I told Hannah, I was like, does that mean there's not going to be another like female elimination next week? Are they just going to like forfeit and it doesn't matter how you do in the daily? Well, then we find out later that they're bringing in a reinforcement or whatever, which I'm fine with. Totally fine with. So we find out that this elimination is called Wait Up, and I don't think we've ever had this exact elimination before.
I don't think so.
Probably some similar.
We've had
elements.
Yeah, we've had eliminations with elements of this, but not this. I don't believe so.
I didn't know.
We're probably wrong.
Yeah, probably. I didn't know that MJ was a general contractor.
I neither.
That's what he called himself, but then Mark called him a roofing specialist or something. I mean, I'm sure he does roofing if he is a general contractor.
Right.
But yeah, I had no idea that he did that. You know, they were playing some song at the beginning. I don't know what it was. Kind of sounded like a royalty free, almost like I don't know, something back behind there. And then they cut to Limp Bizkit's break stuff whenever they start to go after the wall. Did you notice that they beeped out the word blood?
No.
First one to complain leaves with a blood stain. Said first one to complain leaves with a stain. And then I was like, that's an odd choice of words in this song to beep out.
Mm-hmm. Maybe there's a deeper meaning there.
You think so?
I don't know. I'm not Fred.
That's true. How'd you feel about MJ's technique of going around the edges instead of trying to blast through the middle?
Kind of weird, right?
I was worried, and then I was like, I get what he's doing. He's trying to do like a perforation type thing.
That's the contractor in him.
That's probably the better way to do it. So you're not having as much to clean up from being, because like you're not blasting out of the middle. And I was like, man, but like it is going to take longer if Cyrus can work in the middle and get a big enough that he can just squeeze through.
Boy, for a hooper though, he could not.
Yeah,
that stuff's maddening to watch because all you got to do is just let that thing swing back to you. That's
it's
it.
timing.
And we saw it.
He probably missed 6 bags at least.
Yeah. And a few of them consecutively. Yeah. And it's just like, just let the thing swing back. Mm-hmm. Let that thing swing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I know.
So that's what lost it for him.
Yeah.
I don't think he was far behind at all.
No. And like MJ gave him a chance to catch back up when it came to the wall part. And, you know, what happened was Cyrus started in the middle, and then he's like working his way to like get a big enough hole, and MJ's like methodically working around where it's like a notebook that you can like rip the page right out of, and you know once MJ gets to kind of the end, he just knocks that whole thing out and he goes right through and he's fine, and so it did work, but it was nerve wracking. John A looked like she was about to throw up, so.
Brad had bug eyes too.
Did he?
Bug eyes came out a couple of times this episode. Yeah.
MJ said it had been over a decade since he won an elimination, which, yeah, probably because he hasn't been on the show in a decade or more. Yeah. Until last season, he didn't go in elimination. So, how'd you feel about TJ saying like Cyrus was? I believe he said the best to do it. It was something very highly praiseworthy.
High praise. Well, clearly not the best to do it.
Yes. I wouldn't even say top 10 if I'm...
No. Cyrus has universally been a
underperformer.
Goes home. He's in the vein of not as bad. Tyree.
I'd say he's better than Kyrie.
Better, but it's the same sort of thing where it's like
big dude who underperforms.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's not Danny or anything like that.
No. He's had his share of moments, but
he's definitely had more like TV moments, and like ironically with TJ and we just went through in the gauntlet too. But yeah, to me, Cyrus was always a guy who hung around for about half a season, and then would end up going home, and not ever cross that line to like become a big name. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But again, the best shape he's ever been in his life.
He looked great.
Yeah.
He looked cut out for it this season, but we said at the beginning of the seaon, I'll own up to it. Bad number 3 pick. It really was.
It was a reach. When you picked him, I was like, whew.
It was a reach. Where was I going with that thought?
You picked him early?
The thought was probably as forgetful as most of his challenge career. I picked him early, but Cyrus has always been like enjoyable.
Agreed. I don't mind when he's on seasons. I've never been like, oh, I wish he would go home.
Yeah.
He's always been a guy that everyone seems to enjoy like being around, and he's not ever annoyed me to like where I was like, oh, I don't want him cast again.
But I'm not a fan of I'm coming back next season, bigger, faster, stronger, and I'm going to win it.
Which he does every single time. Yeah.
Every single season.
What's funny, though, is that, like, at the beginning of this season, he was like, I think it was the first elimination. He was like, 50, I'm getting married. I don't know if I'm going to ever come back here again. And then he goes home and he's like, I'll be back next time.
Yeah.
And, again, if they're giving you the calls, go on back. Unless you're Melinda and you're hurt.
Right.
I still have a problem with that.
Okay.
Apparently, All-Stars 2 filmed in July, started in July. And then All-Stars 3 started in October. So not a huge layoff in between.
Not a lot of recovery time
there. We had someone reach out to me and tell me that All-Stars 2 ended in July and then 3 started in October, but we had one of our patrons, when I mentioned that, they dug into some Reddit threads and stuff and did the math on when people were flying out to film on different stuff, and they were filming in July.
You got to check your sources sometimes.
Yeah. So
numbers never lie.
That's true. It's one of the hard truths.
Yeah.
So MJ actually gets both of Cyrus's stars. So now MJ's going to have 3. Even though he only won 1 elimination, he beat someone that had 2, so now he gets 3. So does that mean like Tina's stars just evaporate?
They evaporate. They're gone.
Okay. We still don't know what the stars mean.
Yeah.
So we'll figure that out. You have any final thoughts on this episode before I read Hannah's notes?
It's a great episode. This is a good episode.
All stars are just good.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts from your fiance? I know you said she was preoccupied this episode.
Yeah.
I gotta take a drink of water.
She said the elimination was making her anxious. Just,
I wonder what she'd think of some of the like really intense eliminations.
Yeah. She didn't come out and just like have comments about certain people.
How'd she feel about Jimmy going home?
That's when she was kind of locked into photographer stuff, but and then not a lot out over this week.
I don't know what Hannah wrote. I haven't looked at her notes yet.
Okay.
You want to go ahead and jump in?
Let's do that. I like that you haven't looked at them because...
Well, I don't typically beforehand.
Yeah.
All right, and if you're new to a boys' night for whatever reason, which is where it's just Jake and I, we've probably done 10 of these.
I'd say maybe closer to 15.
10 or 15 over the last 4 years at this point. And we've only done 2 where it's just Hannah and I. And then we've done none where it's you and Hannah.
Right.
I've been involved in every one. I'm the only person at this point that's been on every single episode.
We need you. But I'm proud of my just 2 missed episodes.
In 4 years, that's pretty good.
That's good.
I was talking to someone yesterday who I'm not going to mention any names, but you would know him, but not okay. You don't have a relationship with him. And she was talking about frustrations at work, and one of her friends works with her at said place, and her friend has already missed 40 days of work this year.
Good Lord.
And I was like, oh my God. And not vacation, just missed. And it's a very small place where there's like 4 employees. So that's like 25% of your workforce.
Do I know the employee?
No.
Wow.
But I was like, so they're like, yeah, we really need help. And I was like, yeah. And they're like, this person's just apparently sick a lot and is going to like try to file for disability. And I was like, yeah, that sucks. And I was like, any other place she probably would have been fired by now. But anyway, episode 3, again, like I was saying, if you are new here, I try to read them in the spirit of how Hannah wrote them. Because she takes notes very differently than you.
She has a way about her.
More full sentences than bullet points. Emojis are used a lot. A lot of rhetorical questions.
Right.
Like, I don't think I ever write rhetorical questions in my... No. So I'll jump in and you can kind of... You can give me your feedback as we go. Also, she does all of her notes for a season in one giant note on her phone. I do per episode.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay. So, Ep 3. Kendall wants to invest in Kellyanne's animal rescue business. Right off the bat, we did not even talk about that. I don't even remember that being talked about on the show.
I don't either. That was mentioned? I would have given fantasy points for that.
That's her first note. And then she says Kellyanne and Kendall are the outlying girls from the Alliance.
I remember that. But
yeah, I remember that. I don't remember the part before.
And that's what's always so bizarre, too, even when she's here, is like she'll bring up stuff that, like...
It's a good counterpoint because, again, we just miss stuff that she catches.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know how often we bring up stuff that she doesn't remember or that to her just, like, didn't happen. You know what I'm saying?
That happens all the time in my life.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Well...
I told you after we recorded last episode, because I don't even remember what happened. We've infamously talked about the missing hot dog in the house. And
there's too many things now that are stacked against her that would indicate that
exactly
she lives in a different reality a lot of times.
Exactly. And so, speaking of that, we recorded the last episode. We turned off the equipment. We were coming up with like episode titles or something, and she said something. I don't even remember what it was. That was about either you or me. Like she was like correcting, like our point of view on something. Not in like a malicious way, but it was like, no, you don't think that. And then I was like, Jake, listen to what happened when we went to the grocery store last time. And I told you I picked out these cookies that were these Chips Ahoy, like with Hershey's in them or something. Okay. And I specifically got them because I like very crispy cookies. I like when cookies have like a bite to them. I don't like when, especially store-bought cookies are chewy or like, soft.
Right.
I don't enjoy that. She loves it. It's her favorite type.
Right.
She would rather everything be like that. And so I like cookies that like when you bite into, they break off, all that type of stuff. I put this in there, and as we're checking out...
I agree with that. Yeah, when I go to Starbucks to get a brownie or a cookie, I tell them, don't warm it.
Yeah.
Don't warm it.
It's just I don't enjoy just like the soft where it feels like it hasn't been. And I do like raw cookie dough, but...
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, I'm putting this on the conveyor belt, and she's like, why are you getting those? You don't like those. And I was like, yes, I do. And she's like, no, you don't. And I was like, why don't I like these? And she's like, you said they're too crumbly. And I was like, hold on a second. I was like, out of the two of us, you know that I like really like crispy like cookies. I was like, you're the one who doesn't like those. And she's like, no, you said you don't like them. And she's like, so last time we bought these, I ate the rest of them. And I was like, well, you might have done that, but that's not something that we've ever discussed before. And the only other time that anything's ever come close to that was when I was single. I used to go grocery shopping like really late at night by myself because when it opened 24/7, you go at like 11:30.
Not no more, it ain't.
Yeah, but that's pre-COVID. That's how it used to be. So I would go in, have my headphones in, just listen to podcasts or music or something, just shop. And I picked off these crackers off a shelf. I may have told this before on the podcast. And this woman who I don't know, who is probably like 50 or something, never seen before in my life, walks up to me and she's like, you don't want those. And I was like, what? Because I had headphones in. And I thought that's what she said. And she's like, you don't want those. She's like, the thing you want are right here. And I was like, no. I was like, this is what I want. And she's like, no. These aren't the original kind. Like, these are like some other flavor. And I was like, yeah, I know. I was like, I'm looking at it. And I was like, in what world does this person live in where they're like, I got to stop him? And I was just so like bewildered. Like, I was like, who would do that?
That's like Impractical Jokers type stuff where they're trying to convince you like, no, you don't want them. You want
but this was not a funny person.
Right.
And I was like, that was at least 7 or 8 years ago, and it is still as fresh in my mind.
Well, there's a story going way back talking about cookies. Something about cookies in her, right? Where you ate like, I don't know what the story is. Maybe you ate like 4 cookies out of the thing. Mm-hmm. And then the cookies were just gone. Yeah. And to her, you ate all the cookies.
Yeah.
You remember this whole thing?
Yeah, this happens all the time.
Yeah.
She for whatever reason, she'll eat stuff, and then I'll eat it, and then it'll go like 4 days or 5 days. And so obviously, like over this 4 or 5 days, like I'll kind of like eat, 4 or 5 at a time or whatever. And then, stuff will be gone. And then she just is like bewildered that food we buy in the house is not here anymore. And it's like, what do you want me to do? Like watch it and preserve it?
I tell you what, I wonder what sort of stuff she's going to be missing 10 years, 20 years.
The thing that, speaking of food stuff, because she does that. She gets upset, and it may just be the way that like she grew up with her family. She gets upset when things are empty. So what she does is she like if it's like Doritos or like Cheez-Its or something like that, or even like Chips Ahoy, like going back to that, she'll eat 95% of it and then leave just the bottom amount so she didn't finish it off. And then I go, and then I see, we got this in the cupboard or the pantry or whatever, and I'm like, okay, and I'll grab it, and then it's basically empty, and that drives me crazy.
Yeah,
because it's like, just finish it, like, because
throw it away.
Yeah, like finish it and throw
You'd
it
rather
away.
just throw it away.
Yes, because I'll see it and then I'm like, oh, later tonight, or I know that I've got this up there, and then I get there and there's like 4 Cheez-Its left in the bottom of it.
Yeah,
and you're just like, what's the point? Like, you could have finished that.
Oh God,
she knows.
Hey, she's one of a kind.
She is.
She really is.
Yeah.
She's one of a kind.
So
we're glad to have her.
Yeah. Derek accidentally joined Big Alliance. Wes is Nehemiah's number 1, but they can't talk to each other because that puts a target on Nehemiah. Cyrus gets choked talking with Brad and Nehemiah. I didn't remember Nehemiah being there for the choking. I just remember Brad.
I don't think Nehemiah was there.
He might have been in like the corner or something, but he like the 2 at the table were them 2.
Right.
Quote, these classic cars have car trouble all the time. Talking about
it was carburetor. Carb. These classic
I thought I remember him saying carb too.
Yeah.
Because that's, MJ wants he and John A to form a soft alliance with Wes.
We mentioned that.
Yes, quote, gotta talk to, unquote, Wes. Thinks Wes is good at the art of sabotage. Doesn't want to sabotage anyone. Wants Wes to choose who to sabotage. Tries to strike a deal. Did he try to strike a deal? I don't remember that.
No, I don't. I think he just wanted to give him the sabotage.
Okay. Because, to me, they don't play well together as far as personality-wise. So, right. Daily, muddy balls with musical chairs, and then she did a chair emoji.
Oh.
Yeah. I didn't even know there was a wooden chair emoji.
How about that?
Yes, put sabotage on Wes. 35-pound weighted vest. Kendall asked to give it to another guy, and then she did a head explosion emoji. Jordyn, quote, give it to me. Asks if she can give it to herself. TJ talks her out of it. Gives it to MJ, and then she does a emoji. Like
that.
No, not that one.
Okay.
Flat smile. So no smile, just flat mouth. And that one, with that one eyebrow up.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one. Kayla gets a ball for her and an extra for Sylvia, which we didn't talk about that. But Veronica fights Kendall for the last ball, but Kendall doesn't like to be underestimated. Veronica last place, arrow, straight to a limb. Second round, Sylvia...
Oh, she does always say a limb.
Yeah. Second round, Sylvia and Tina fight Kendall for her ball. Jimmy's goal is to get Sylvia in the next round? Question mark, question mark, question mark?
Say that one more time.
Jimmy's goal is to get Sylvia in the next round? I mean, she is part of that alliance, I guess.
Is she perplexed by that?
Yeah, I mean, Jimmy's not a top tier competitor.
Right, but this is the treehouse we're talking about.
Which why did they ever explain the
sounds like something.
The reason for the name treehouse?
No, that sounds like something that group would come up with though.
Lavender ladies and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That was because the walls were, and it was all the women and then Shane.
I don't, who knows?
Well,
you forget about him, don't you?
No, I don't forget about Shane. Shane's got a special place in the challenge.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind Shane coming on All-Star season.
That would be fun.
He would. It is because he is the exact opposite of the mindset of most of these people.
Yeah.
Third round, Kayla wins. John second place. Tina tackles Kellyanne with no ball. All to help Sylvia get third place for authority. And then she wrote parentheses. Why Sylvia? ? I'm assuming just numbers wise because it's just easier to get someone you're kind of aligned with in there.
Right.
I did ask Tina, and I didn't check if she ever responded, if she knows what exactly caused her hand to break. Because she posted something on Instagram. You may check it. You can see if we have anybody if she commented on it. Men's round, MJ can't move, last place, and a limb. Second round, Nehemiah, ready to kill, yes. Third round, Brad destroyed all 3 rounds, first place. Authority, Brad, Kayla, Derek, John Jordyn, Sylvia. MJ talks with Kendall about the sabotage with John John has no sympathy for Kendall being indecisive.
Yeah.
Do we have anything?
No, we don't.
I don't know I didn't figure she'd reply to it, but 70s party disco ball emoji, dancing red dress lady emoji, and then a purple suit disco man emoji.
Okay.
Didn't know that one existed either.
I knew that one existed.
I knew the red dress lady existed.
I knew the disco man existed too.
With purple suit?
Yep.
Darrell, quote, Mr. Weston has to start politicking. Wes talks to Mark and Jordyn. Kayla tells Veronica, Sylvia, Jimmy that they want to give Veronica whoever she wants in a limb. Wes tries talking with John about throwing in yes. Mark talks with MJ. Mark said he'd rather go... What? Mark says he'd rather go against... Oh, she has weird space. It's and then it went to a next line. Mark said he'd rather go against someone a lot smaller whose name starts with Y. LOL.
Oh, she thought that was funny.
Yeah, but also, did Mark say that or MJ said that? Right? I don't know. MJ wants Cyrus. Brad tells the authority he wants to throw in yes because he's never been in a limb ever. Tina's whole hand is wrapped up. Went to the hospital. Her whole hand is broken. I don't know if it was the whole hand, but something was broke. Tina packs and leaves. Does this mean no women's a limb? ? Authority. Jordyn says...
She really detailed that whole scene out.
Yeah.
As if she couldn't remember it otherwise.
Well, maybe she forgets it when she gets in here. Authority. Jordyn says MJ wants the easy way out with Cyrus, but says Cyrus has put in work. Basically thinks Cyrus is no layup. Tells authority he wants yes. Jordyn says he gave Kendall an easy out by volunteering for sabotage. Kendall still gave it to someone else. Kendall put herself in the predicament, and then it's kind of like the emoji.
Does she feel bad for her?
I think so.
Okay.
Authority votes in Cyrus because Kayla doesn't want to play Wes's game. Jordyn votes Nehemiah, and Brad's last vote, Wes. Parentheses, he can't let the house know they're working together, maybe, ? Jimmy's dad is doing bad in health. That's not funny, but the way it's written sounds like when you had health class in school. He's doing bad in health. He's got a C-. Yeah. Jimmy going home. 2 women leave outside of a limb in 1 episode. Kendall prob not seeing a limb. Or maybe definitely because it's an even number now? ? Elim. Kendall and Veronica, no Elim.
Oh, wow, she found out fast, didn't she? God. What a turnaround. Oh, my God.
MJ's a general contractor? If we move to Nashville, we could work together. And then she did a happy face.
Yeah, she's in realty.
MJ gets the bucket down first, but hammering the she meant perimeter, but she wrote parameter. Like, you know, when you have like parameters.
Yeah.
But hammering the parameter should go through the middle like Cyrus. MJ wins by seconds. And then she did an emoji covering.
And she all caps seconds?
All caps. Yeah. I'm glad you picked that up from my reading. Yeah. MJ gets both of Cyrus's stars and then did a star emoji. TJ gives Cyrus a pep talk. That's it.
I gotta tell you, man, so much work goes into them notes for her.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
It's a lot. It's so much more detail than I ever do. Because I just kind of like give myself like talking points and then know that I can like riff off of what happened.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I've got her superlatives here.
Go ahead and give her superlatives here.
So who smashed some heads? Kendall. And she smashed the whole house with her sabotage. Who was yours?
You smashed some heads.
Yeah. You licking something?
No. You know what? I'm gonna give it to Cyrus.
Okay.
Came in the best shape of his life.
Yeah, for real.
Maybe not of his life, but in his challenge career, because he was
as an adult.
Yeah. And
apparently he played D1 basketball or something, so he probably was in really good shape then.
Yeah. So even though he went home early, I think
not a bad season.
showing for Cyrus.
Agreed.
Which also doesn't say a lot.
Agreed, but I'd say he had a better season than Latarian.
For 100%.
Yeah, and I mean, like, went home the next episode.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it to Brad just because, like, he's like a freaking Skywalker out there, just like run. He's like a Jesus lizard. You know those lizards that run across the top of the water?
Light on his feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been hanging out with like Chris Angel or something.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give that to Brad just because he dominated that daily. For who got their head smashed, she said MJ and John A via sabotage. Who do you think got their head smashed?
Naya from Ronnie.
Oh yeah, I thought you meant just because she hasn't played well.
Right? No, she got trucked. She got Matt to shout out Hands' first video game recommendation.
Madden 2006.
She got Madden trucked.
Yeah. Was that a thing in 2006?
One of the games around that time they introduced the trucking.
Yeah, I remember
thing.
You could like flick the joystick.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
you hit that thing just right. It was cool.
Yeah. Again, it was like 08. It was Marion Barber. He just couldn't tackle him.
Chris Johnson was just fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you could have like guys like hanging on Marion Barber, and he would just still keep running.
Go down.
What do you think he's up to these days?
Heck, I don't know.
I know what Chris Johnson's up to because I follow him on Instagram.
I follow him on Insta too.
I'm gonna give who got their head smashed to man. I'm just to personally because I didn't want Tina to go home. She's not on my fantasy team, so it doesn't help me at all. But I thought she was having a fun season. We lost 2 people for non-elimination, and it wasn't a guy and a girl to where it even back out. It was 2 ladies, and I don't blame Jimmy for leaving, because you never know what's going to happen there. But it sucks for Tina. I could almost give it to Tina because she quit last season, and then now that she wants to compete, she can't.
Some weirdos out there would call that karma.
Yeah.
But
what's the moon doing? I don't know. Yeah. So I have her video game.
Yeah.
Not what I expected. Honestly, I don't know this one.
Okay.
She picked Star Wars Masters of Terras Kazi.
What?
I mean, am I reading that right?
That's not real. That's not a real game.
It's got to be a real game.
That's not a real game.
I'm gonna look it up.
Terras Kazi.
Never even heard of that person. If that's a person,
I think it's a place.
It may be. Yeah, here it is. Let's see what it looks like.
Oh, I know that cover.
Oh, so it's
just
Star
a
Wars
fighting
Masters. Oh, so it's like Tekken, but Star Wars.
Yeah.
Strange.
That is weird.
I didn't even know they made a game like this.
I didn't either.
Do you think that they just had someone that had like built a fighting game and then they just reskinned it with Star Wars characters?
Maybe.
Like they took the engine from like Mortal Kombat and then just like put new like textures over it.
Yeah, that's pretty weird.
Yeah, that's just like no. I don't have any other explanation based on everything else that we know about her picks. Her dad bought it, and then she just played it.
Yeah.
Again, for the amount of time she talked about Spyro in the past, I didn't know she'd only played the demo.
There's an angry video game nerd down there who I actually used to watch him a lot. Basically, he plays all these games that are horribly made and does a whole bit, right? Like
yeah,
he gets, like,
I've seen those before.
So I'd imagine that game's probably not great.
I gotta be honest, going back and playing any game from like 1997, it's
maddening.
Mostly going to be rough.
Yeah.
It's crazy how much different it is now.
Yeah. You want me to go with mine?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to follow suit with Han.
I was
here.
taking a drink.
Yeah, I'm going to follow suit with Han. So I did a Star Wars game last week, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
And I don't know if she was trying to one-up me or, it was just on the brain, so she went with it. I'm going to go with a football game. She went Madden 06 in week 1.
NFL Street.
I'm going to tell you what is the best football game of all time because it
Probably
was
a
so...
Dreamcast game.
No. It was so... The depths to which they went to create, like, an experience like what you would watch on TV. ESPN Football 2K5 had Terrell Owens on the cover with when he was on the Eagles. Mm-hmm. I mean, I remember I always liked like doing the franchise mode, and I would draft my own team. So like one time I had like Ben Roethlisberger as my quarterback. He was a rookie. I always like to draft the rookies and stuff, and so I'd build my own team that way. I have LaDainian Tomlinson my running back, and different stuff like that. Right? These games would go to halftime. And Chris Berman was doing the stuff. Like, it was a legit, like...
What year was it?
2K5. ESPN Football 2K5. And it was like... And then you would do, like, the... some mode where you, like, create your own player and you're going through whatever. And, like, you could, like, build your own home and, like, fill it with stuff. Like, the stuff
like
you could do in this game was... ahead of its time, and like the Maddens these days don't even allow you to do that stuff.
Yeah, I just don't think that probably there's a reason why they don't, because there's not a huge overlap of people who want a football game where you go home and like take care of your cat.
I don't know. I know we got a couple of sports heads that are patrons and stuff. Like, I'd be interested to hear their take on that because I know they probably
never
played it.
That game.
That's the best football game of all time to me.
I brought this up because. For whatever reason, like eBay used to have a not family, but like a sister site called like half.com. I don't even know if it still exists. And it was like more media related stuff. And I bought this game kind of sight unseen, and it was NFL Extreme 2. It was basically like a blitz game.
Okay.
But that's not my pick for this week. That's what I thought you reminded me of. You can see what it kind of looked like here. But you could like front flip over people.
Okay.
And stuff. Like, if you timed it right, you could, like, juke, but instead of, like, doing a normal, like, spin, like, you could literally just flip over them. But if you flipped and they hit you while you're flipping, the ball went flying.
Okay.
It was a blitz-style game, which blitz is probably the most fun, just, like, arcadey style game. I'm going to go with an old game. I'll pick an old game.
Okay.
And I'm picking Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
Yeah.
That game... One is not only good, but I knew dozens of people who played that had no interest in skateboarding.
Right.
Like, I was into skateboarding stuff, and so I bought Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1. I put Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 on layaway at Walmart because I didn't have any money as a kid. And so Pro Skater 2, like, it took everything from 1 and made it way better.
Yeah.
Had great soundtrack, super fun. Still, honestly, kind of holds up other than the graphics. And then the remastered Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 that came out like a year and a half ago, it's great. Like, it's so much fun. And there's like gaps and stuff everywhere. There's like 560 gaps in the game. Did every one of them. I got a YouTube video, walked me through some of the ones I missed. Some of them took like 40 minutes to get one gap, and got all of them. Like, those games are just fun. But yeah, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 just kind of like brought that to a kind of like how, I think we were talking with someone last night about like Guitar Hero and stuff, like how that went to like a wide audience that like people wouldn't have expected. Yeah. There are just some games that kind of, for whatever reason, hit a groove and
break all barriers.
Yeah, that game has got to be one of the top selling games, especially of its time. So I'm gonna pick that, and the remasters are great if you haven't played those because they look awesome.
Yeah.
So that's mine for this week. Are you ready to get into your fantasy stuff?
It's time.
I got it pulled up here. So, just to recap, Hannah has 235. I have 335, and Jake has 375. But we do have a lot of people that went home this week.
So I did something different this week that we may want to go back and retract.
Oh my god!
But it's easy. So I've been the winners of the daily. I've been giving them 25 points for being safe.
Yes.
Well, I haven't been doing that for the second and third place, who are technically safe too. So I just didn't give the safe points this week. So basically, it's just going back and taking 25 points off
the winners.
The daily winners, the first place winners.
We might have to, not tonight.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, do it.
It just hit me this week. Like there's 4 more people that are safe that I'm not giving. Yeah.
Do it as you wrote it tonight, and then
we'll go back and
next
fix it.
week we can go back and figure out the weeks 1 and 2.
Yeah, because it's late. I gotta wake up in
exactly
3.5 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, here we go. Brad opens with a quote. There's something in the water. 10 points. That must be the first
Is that
point.
That's a Jaws quote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nehemiah gets him. -5 to Brad.
Gets him.
Yeah, he jumped up out of the water and got him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We get another low 5 for Little Mark. 5 points.
A low high five.
Low high 5. We got the Kendall and Kellyanne yoga sessions. That's 10 points. We're going to give 15 points to everyone in the treehouse.
Oh, my God.
Kayla.
Kayla
and Sylvia, both on my team.
Yeah.
Jimmy, Veronica.
Veronica.
Tina, Ronnie, and Derek. All right.
I think you had 3, and Hannah and I both had 2.
Yeah. We'll give an additional 10 to Derek for being the only male in the group. It's got to be a nice feeling.
Break that glass ceiling.
He's never lived with 7
that was
females.
a joke, by the way. Don't get upset. Good Lord.
Weirdos.
Yeah.
5 points to Derek because it's his first time living with 7 other females. Jimmy breaks the 4th wall, 10 points.
I don't remember that. I missed that the last time you said it.
We get the Brad headband sleep mask. Right?
I didn't see it.
When him and Cyrus were eating together. So 10 points.
Okay. Yeah, I do kind of remember something up there.
Cyrus is choking, -5. Brad with the quote and just checking in. Dude, are you good? 10 points.
It's always funny when someone's choking and someone asks a question like they can't respond.
Yeah. Cyrus needs to change his carburetor. Or carbonator.
He needs to clean his carbs.
Yeah.
It's
either way, it's -10.
It's carburetor, not carbonator.
Yeah. John A has leveled up 5 points. We get a Yes and Wes coffee date. That's 15. According to Yes, this date is going horrible. -10 to Yes. Yes only, because it could have been going good to Wes. Who knows? When Kendall zones out, she pictures herself on the beach. 10 points.
Sorry, I had something on my keyboard.
Tina loves musical chairs. 5 points. -15 to Wes and MJ. They get sabotaged. I will give Wes 15 points for the quote. Sounds more like a weapon right now.
Okay. I'm not going to argue with you, but seems awfully weighted for that one.
I'll give 10 points to Kendall for wanting to change the game up and use the sabotage on the guys. But it's a weird choice. -10.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think she should be rewarded for how she handled that.
5 points to John A because she's mad. We give points for anger here. Mm-hmm. We got Derek's Mudball Classic of the World. 15 points.
With a graphic.
Yeah. John A is sinking into peanut butter. -10. Maybe 10 because that may be a gift for you.
Yeah, I was about to say Hannah would be allergic to that.
Yeah, that would kill her.
Yeah.
Let's
can't swim, so that's a double whammy.
Right, yeah. Nia tried to truck Ronnie. She got trucked back. 10 for Ronnie, -10 for Nia.
In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter because they're both on Hannah's team.
Right.
So it balances out.
Ronnie feels like she's in a spa. 10 points. Veronica's life is very normal. 5 points. It's been a while since Veronica searched for balls. 5 points.
Okay.
But -25 because she loses. An additional -15 because she's going straight in. 50 points to Kayla. She wins. An additional 15 because she has sabotage power.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see. Second to John A. Or 25 to John A. She got second.
Yeah.
And 15 to Sylvia. She got third. I'm going to give Tina 15 points for popping her finger back into place. It's tough.
And just being very nonchalant about it.
It's tough juice.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, watch that knee, MJ. -5.
Yeah. It did make me nervous. I hate seeing knee injuries.
10 points to Cyrus because he's a hooper.
Speaking of that and knee injuries, did you see the Danny Green one from
I didn't see it.
Joel Embiid just fell into him and it was gone. And he's
like
35.
That's trouble. That's trouble.
Yeah.
Also, who decided to give Pat Beverly all this camera time since we're talking?
I think he decided. He's like, I'll be on TV.
I can't believe this guy, man.
It's funny because JJ Redick and Matt Barnes and Danny Green and them.
He's a whack job, man.
They're like, nobody's guarding you.
Yeah, he's a whack job. He's the guy who's not very good.
Matt Barnes came out and said the next day, we're role players in this league. Stop going after Chris Paul. He's a Hall of Famer. People are going to remember him forever. They're like, guys like me and you, they're like, we played a role. And he's like, you're not the guy that you think you are.
Yeah.
And he's like, nobody else is going to say it to you, so I'm going to say it to you.
Yeah.
Matt Barnes was a fun guy to have on the Grizzlies that 1 year.
Pat Beverly's a loser.
Agreed.
Yeah. And somebody told us a couple weeks ago when we were playing the Timberwolves, they were like, you'd love to have Pat Beverly on your team.
Would not.
No. So
I was glad we traded him.
Let's see. -25 to MJ. He loses the daily. -15 because he's going straight in. And according to him, it's the first individual challenge he's flat out lost. An additional -10. Let's see. 15 points to Cyrus. He says, I'm doing my Thizzle.
I don't know what that means, and I don't know what he was referring to.
10 points to Nehemiah and Yes for their little scrap.
Where's There he is, Nehemiah.
Nehemiah with the classic, I'm going to beat your butt, but it's FTK. 10 points. We'll give 10 points to Yes because he's Mr. Integrity.
Let's be honest, though. Nehemiah's not going to fight anybody on this show.
He's not going to fight anybody. Yeah. We'll give 50 points to Brad for being the winner, 15 for sabotage power, and an additional 20 because he won every time.
Yeah.
Every round.
What's crazy is, we talked about Brad and Darrell being kind of 1A and 1B as far as great competitors who don't do much. Brad's not having a bad showing this season.
No, he's not.
Darrell's still not doing as much. But.
Yeah. Okay. 25 to Derek. He won second. And 15 to Jordyn. He got third. Let's see. Cyrus was checking on Jordan's balls because he hit him.
Did he?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
10 points to Cyrus for being a gentleman. -10 to Jordyn because it's never fun to get hit in the nuts.
The last time we played tennis in the tournament before I had COVID, an old guy nailed me at the net in the balls. And it hurt. I couldn't tell you the last time I'd been hit like that. Come to find out, the next two guys that we played against, they were like, "Oh yeah, that guy does that a lot." Did you hear that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, they were like, "Yeah, he tries to hit people."
Yeah,
and I was like, "Well, I've never had we play all the time. We never hit each other, and we slam them, but
Hannah does.
Yeah, but not
the first time I brought my fiance out to play tennis with you guys. We were just jacking around, right?
She hit her twice.
First
5 minutes.
She's standing right at the net. Yeah. My fiance is, and Hannah just rears back and just lays into this thing, hits her right in the crotch.
Yeah,
and she was out. She was checked out from that moment on.
She got a concussion.
Yeah. Okay, where was I at here? We're going to give Sylvia 15.
Negative 10 to Jordyn was the last point.
We're going to give Sylvia 15 here for one of our the great Grizzlies of all time had this quote.
You can't milk. You got to milk that horse.
No, he stays ready so you don't have to get ready. It's variation on his quote. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Who said that?
Tony Allen.
Okay,
Yeah.
I thought it was, but he has so many other ones.
We got Kendall getting grilled. -5. She made a big mistake. Darrell, we're going to give him 15 with the quote, here you go, baby girl, buy yourself something nice.
It's his first points, by the way.
Yeah, 15 to Sylvia because she's the one buying something nice. Per Darrell, Wes is a party pooper. -5 to Wes. Wes is also a hibernating red bear. 10 points. Kellyanne's tired of being nice. 5 points. Tina breaks her hand. -15. Medical DQ. -25.
Yeah.
But if you ask her, she had the best time. 10 points. Let's see. -25 to Cyrus and Kendall. They get voted in. We get spirit fingers from Cyrus. That's 5 points.
And I had to find Kendall. 5 points?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kendall went on this weird rant about she doesn't think the younger All-Stars get it. -5.
Yeah, so was it this episode or last episode? Someone was talking about, I think it was Kendall. I think it was this episode because she was like, yeah, they don't get it. I have 3 kids at home and
right.
whatever. And I was like, John A's got at least 2 kids and a husband back home. And I was like, most of these people, like even like Kayla's married now, and she may not have been at the time of filming, but like
Sylvia's got a stepkid.
Yeah, she's got
married.
Like a 15-year-old stepkid.
Yeah.
And I was like, Kendall's not in that much different of a situation from most of these people.
Oh, and she had the whole comment about like they don't realize the way we paved for them, and it's just
and we like Kendall. We've interviewed Kendall, whatever. Kendall had 1 season of the challenge before All Stars.
So if any paving was done,
it was not.
She did not play a big role in that.
She might have been 1 brick in a brick of 1,000.
Yeah.
And so like, and again, no disrespect to her, but the challenge was paved with a lot of other people.
Right. Well, we get a Jimmy and Mom FaceTime session, 10 points. Jimmy's the queen of gut instincts, 10 points. But she's going home, -25. But we're going to give her an honorary 10 because we wish her dad the best.
And it turns out he's okay now.
Yeah. 20 points to Kendall and Veronica. They're off the hook.
20?
Yeah. They're safe, man. That's.
Oh, okay. Yeah. For some reason, I was thinking Kellyanne, and I was like, what?
I'm going to give 15 to Cyrus for the quote. Some really extremely foul expletive went down.
Okay.
That was something that me and my fiance both laughed at when he said that. Uh-huh. So anything that gets a laugh is a 15-pointer.
Is that true going forward?
Yeah.
Okay.
We got general contractor MJ, 5 points. -10 to Cyrus because that jumper is off.
Yeah.
Good Lord. MJ's hitting nothing but net, 10 points. MJ wins, 75.
By the way, I would assume MJ played basketball growing up.
Think so?
I mean, just that height and that build, they're going to put him on the basketball team.
Cyrus loses, -50.
Did you have anything besides 75 for MJ?
No.
Okay.
First win in over a decade. First elimination win in over a decade. 10 points. Let's see. Cyrus gives the whole, I'm coming back.
Yeah.
Bigger, -15. 15 to MJ for stars. He gets the stars. It's 15 points. And 20 to Cyrus because TJ really hyped him up.
He did. Like, good Lord.
Yeah. So, that, ladies and gentlemen, we didn't. That's your fantasy points for the week. We didn't mention it at the top of this, but.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Prince, not quite a king. We'll take a quick break. And we are back. One last time, quick shout out to our sponsors for the season. Prince, not quite a king.
Very specific sponsor that probably none of our other listeners run into very often.
Well, it's a thing called Google.
Yeah, Google. Google just a Prince. So who would you think would be the high score for the week? and low score, so you can just name them both if you want to try.
Oh, man.
You're cheating. You're looking at the board.
Brad's
high score.
Low score?
By a pretty significant amount.
I would say low score. I would. Oh, man. Who? It's not Tina or Jimmy.
Mm-mm.
Kendall?
Cyrus.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He had a lot of negatives. Again, you lose negative 50 just for...
He was choking.
Yeah, choking earlier on in the episode. So, going through, we're going to go through top to bottom. Hannah's team on down. Jordyn got 5. Nia got negative 10.
Okay.
Latarian's eliminated. So, her top 3 didn't do great. I mean, mine didn't have... I mean, Mark Long for me, you'll see in a minute, got 5 points. But... So, Nia, negative 10. Latarian eliminated. MJ, 45 points. That's her high score for the week.
And that was with an elimination win.
Yeah. But he also lost to Daily.
That's true. Yeah.
Then you had John A. with 25. Kendall with 5. Ronnie with 35. And Jimmy with 30. She has 135 for the week.
Okay.
Wes got me 20. Mark Long got me 5. That's what I was referred to a minute ago. He had the low high 5. That's the only thing he got this episode. Brad got 110. Derek got 70. Biggest week for Derek.
Good week for Derek.
By far. Veronica ended up with 5. Kellyanne ended up with 15. And then Melinda and Tyler are both eliminated. So I ended up with 225 for the week.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
For you, Kayla got 80.
Kayla's been solid for me. I'm happy with it.
She's been pretty, but you're...
I'm happy with it.
Yes, ended up with 25. Cyrus at negative 40. Darrell 15. Tina 5. Nehemiah 20. Cynthia was eliminated, and then Sylvia is 60. I mean, that's solid from Sylvia.
Solid.
Only positive scoring. So you ended up with 165 for the week.
Okay.
So officially in third place, Hannah has 370.
Okay.
And
so she's having about 125 a week. A little under.
She got 135 this week.
Yeah.
So you are now in second place with 540.
Okay.
And then I am in first. The reason is because I had the daily guy winner, and then nobody went home on my team this week. And so I am at 560 because I had so far was the only team with 2 eliminated peoples.
Yeah.
Not peoples, but I was going to say people so far. And so that's really been, that kind of knocked me out early. And so now you have 2 gone. I have 2 gone.
I have 3 gone.
Oh, you have 3 because you have Cyrus too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Hannah has 2
gone.
2. And
then, 2, 2, and 3.
Yeah. So it definitely helped even things out. But I mean, you're only 20 points away from me. So I mean, it's still, and Hannah's got to really hope Jordyn or one of these really like pans out for her in the final.
Yeah.
At this point, I mean, something can always change, but man, Nia's got to have been the biggest no-show for a top 3 so far.
Biggest.
Yeah. I mean, Mark got me 5 this week, but he won an elimination.
I mean, say what you will about Cyrus, but he's done more than Nia so far.
True, but he got negative 40 this week.
That's fine.
He won an elimination though.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a rough go for Nia. So I have to go through and, I mean, how would we write? What's Jimmy? It's not medical DQ. I mean,
I went home. I don't know.
Yeah, left. And then Cyrus eliminated. I'm updating the official ledger, and then medical DQ for Tina. So we didn't say it at the top of the show because we were too busy probably talking about Saved by the Bell or something else. But follow us at Twitter. I mean, not at Twitter. On Twitter, at Smashing Heads, and then at Smashing Heads on Facebook and Instagram. Every time I say it, we get new people to follow us. So do it and continue to follow us. And if you know how Tina broke her hand, like what physically did it, let us know that. And we probably asked some other questions that we don't know the answer to. But we'll be back with you next week for episode 4, and all 4 of us. Well, no, there's not 4 of us. All 3 of us will be back. It's late. It's 1:00 in the morning. And so we'll all be back with you next week.
Yeah, have a good night, everyone.